you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Two powerful FM signals, one AM signal, and worldwide on WGNSradio.com. You can listen to us anywhere. We are WGNS Murfreesboro.
I get a radio that's kind of possessed.
It's coast to coast AM overnight every night.
You have a possessed radio?
Yeah.
WGNS Murfreesboro. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable on this Wednesday. Glad to have you with us. Chip Walters here from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates, and the Blue Raider Network. And what was the old Carpenter song, Rainy Days and Mondays? Maybe we could change the words to Rainy Days and Wednesdays. But not going to get you down today. We got a good show for you here in the next over the next hour. Dave Gober is here to talk about, I called this the M&M Show, Mortgage and Movies. So we're going to talk about.
I was a rapper.
There you go, like that.
A rapper, Eminem.
That's right, something like that. But his M&M starts with an E. So
I got you.
Rainy day. Be careful. There's ponding water out there, and it used to be we used to just be under a flood watch. Now it has a fancier name. It's the aerial flood watch. So I guess that means the area. I thought, why is there flood watch in the air if it's aerial? But it's, again, it is in the area. But hard rain right now in downtown Murfreesboro, and it's going to go on just about all day. In addition to having Dave Gober here, it is National Hot Dog Day, Dave, and wish folks would text in at 615-893-1450. Where is the best hot dog in the borough or in Rutherford County? Where do you go? There's not a lot of restaurants that have hot dogs anymore. I know there's a few out there. Toots does, and
Five Guys has one.
Five Guys has one. Sam's used to, and sometimes they bring it back every once in a while. So if you got a good
Sonic.
Oh, that's right. Sonic does in different kinds.
Giving away all my secrets.
There you go. They'll all be bought up before you get there today. Well, Dave is, as we mentioned, is with F&B Mortgage and has a beautiful office down here on Front Street. You brought your office back downtown. Gosh, what, 3 or 4 years ago now?
2019, right
wow,
before the pandemic.
Yeah, so 4 years ago, and that it was kind of an energy both for your office and you brought some energy down there to that corner of Front and Burton Streets.
It was. We had brought on some loan officers from other companies, and we needed a new, fresh start. I thought that the downtown area is so vibrant. It's gained so much momentum over the years. Kind of like the place to be in Murfreesboro. Our square, I think, is one of the best squares, little town squares that we have.
Yeah.
So I just thought, being on Medical Center was great, but being on the third floor up on the corner of a high rise, I don't, it's just, you got a good view for a little bit, but I just felt like a little isolated. I want to get more into the roots of Murfreesboro, so that's when we decided to go downtown.
How's that been?
Man, it's been fantastic. I don't know a lot of people. I know a lot of people around the square and stuff, and I met a lot of friends just by moving down here. Even though I've lived in Murfreesboro since 1975, moving to the square, I try to walk because I need to get up and walk instead of sitting behind a desk all the time. And I walk around the square, I go by Junior's Food, I go down Manny, I go down Highland, see all the new renovations, the new construction, and I met the shop owners, Jack Brown's and the marinas and, the coffee shops, so forth. It's been a really good time. It really takes away, like when you have to exercise, you're like, man, I dread going, but I'll walk a mile and a half and not even know it. You know?
You're like me. I'll park a lot of times over by the old hospital, that one lot that is still there, and there's so many different. I've got 2-mile routes all over
Right.
downtown. Well, one goes, out toward Oakland's Mansion. Another one goes toward MTSU, and just the downtown is fun to walk, but you're like me. You came here at a point in your life. So what is Dave's Murfreesboro story and how you got here?
Well, I moved here when I was 5. My dad became a professor at MTSU in 1975. He taught there through 2010 before he passed away. So he was at MTSU 35 years basically, and taught stats. A lot of people, remember how hard he was. But anyway, that's my story here. I grew up here. My friends in college, when I graduated MTSU in 95, they're like, man, we're moving. We're going to go somewhere where we can make real money and all that. And I said, I'm just going to stick around here because I like the community and I like family. So I don't want to be away from my brothers and sisters and my mom and dad. So I figured, you know what? And then while I was in college, Joe Tomlinson was the city manager of Murfreesboro for Carmike Cinemas, and he hired me as a doorman. And I was 18 or 17, almost 18, and this was 1988. And boy, I tell you what, I learned a lot from him and Billy Brooks. Took me in. They're kind of like my work dads, My dad can take you. Your parents can take you so far, but then you have to have these work mentors in your life. And I was lucky enough to have those two gentlemen in my life to help me grow, not only as a person but as a business person.
Right.
So then I became a projectionist. That's when it was a real trade. I think it was Mr. Barrett used to be the projectionist there for years, but that's when we really had to handle the 35 millimeter film, and you had to clean the projectors, and they were oil driven. They were like cars. You had to have gadgets and sprockets, and so I learned a lot. I learned how to deal with the public. I learned how to deal with hiring and firing. I learned how to deal with pressure of like a film break during a sold out show of Home Alone at the Stones River 6. Remember I love the theater behind the mall that used to be behind the Stones River Mall. I love that theater. But I had Home Alone.
I would imagine there's quite no pressure quite like that, and you've got 150 set of eyes turned around there.
Yes.
Hey, when you're going to get it fixed? But.
So, and that taught me how to deal with pressure, like in the environment I'm in now. When you talk about mortgage rates and the volatility that they're at right now, you can quote a rate on Monday morning at 8 and Tuesday at noon, it's different. Rates are fluctuating just like the stock market does. So it's kind of pressurized environment because, like you said earlier, I get asked a gazillion times, what are rates going to do? Well, if I knew exactly what rates were going to do, I'd already set my plan in motion and head on down to the Caribbean. But that's not, I don't have a crystal ball. So I tell people, you just got to make the decision that's best for you at the moment without jeopardizing your future.
Right. And the thing is, if you're I wanted to spend some time on both the mortgage part and the movie part. And we're going to get much heavier into the movie part in the next segment. But as far as the mortgage, we had a in our sales meeting yesterday at Exit, there was a good bit of talk about it, and I think I mentioned to you that I saw a post on Facebook or something from I think another realtor here in town, or that said, when it's time to buy the house, it's time to buy the house, and don't really be concerned, because if rates go up after you bought it the right time. Like you said, if rates go down, it's refinance, and most folks around town, including yourself, have special programs for folks right now who can refinance within a certain window of time for very little money.
Right, and we do that. Like I said, you put it right there where it needs to be heard. If you buy now, it's not like you're throwing your money away. It's not like you're, wasting your investment. If you buy now, you're investing, and even though the rate is higher than what it was, you're talking about those rates probably should have never been at 2.5%, 3%.
Right.
Just to be honest with you, that was, and when you look at when you go forward, when you do your pro formas and you look at your projections, okay, and then you look at your historical data, you have to take that whole pandemic era out. because it was such a unique environment that you can't base anything off of it. There was nothing valid about what was going on. It was just total chaos. If you'd have told me 2019, hey, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to pay $60,000 over value, I'm not going to require an inspection, I don't care what shape it's in, I just want the house, I'd say you've lost your mind. Right?
Yeah.
And then here it is, a reality 8 months later when rates drop, and now people are concerned about, hey, you know what, I'm going to pay a 6% rate or 6.5%. Okay, well, that's still a great rate historically. However, the difference is the increase in price that offsets that payment somewhat. So not only do we have rates drop so low, and then we had values go up 50, 60, 70% in 2 years, and the incomes didn't catch up. I mean, and that's just common. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, you know, the higher the rates go, the less you can afford. The higher the prices go, the less you can afford. So, but if you can afford a house today, go ahead and buy it, because with the demand of the people that are moving into this community, I look for this to be a long-term sought-out destination for people across the nation, because of the value we add as a community in Middle Tennessee. So if you look at my pipeline over the last probably 2 years, I've probably got, I don't know, I would say 10, 15% Californians, Coloradans, New York,
Illinois.
Yeah. I mean, so it's more diverse than ever before now. The only problem I have is that when you buy a home, if you don't have to pay over and you don't have to compete, I'd rather have a higher payment of $300 or $400 a month than have to pay $20,000-$30,000 over asking price.
Right.
And then, like you said, if you buy now, the rates go up, then you bought at the right time, because you bought before the rates went up even higher. And if they do go down, you can do a refinance. We offer a lender fee free refinance, and there's details to that, but we've got, a lot of lenders have good refinance programs.
And lenders also, during this past 18 months, have gotten creative with different loan programs, things like that have also helped buyers.
Yeah, that's correct. We've got a program now. It's great for veterans. If there's a veteran out there right now, I pride myself on veteran loans, VA loans. I think I have the lowest rates in town on that. I mean, you can check, always compete, always compare. I always encourage people to do that. But I have the Welcome Home Funds grant, and for those who qualify, you can get up to $15,000, and it's the best grant available at the time, and it's a limited time. It's first come, first serve
until the pot is empty.
Correct.
Yeah.
But $15,000, like I took I had a girl that used to work for Exit that called me, and she said, hey, I need help with clients going to one of the popular veteran places, they advertise on TV and stuff, and they were charging them a 7.125% interest rate on a VA loan. I was able to lower that. I got them 6.5%. Okay, I charged them half of origination instead of a full origination, so I saved them about $3,000 there in closing costs. But the kicker was he had to bring $14,000 because VA's 100% loan.
Correct.
And he had to bring in his closing costs. Well, guess what? I got the grant, and now he gets in for zero, and I got him lower rate by over half a percentage point.
Yeah. So
those are the feel-good stories, you know. But if you don't investigate, you don't research, you may be leaving money on the table. Yeah,
and for first-time home buyers, are you seeing more use of THDA right now? Because that kind of went away for a little bit, but now it's become a major factor, really helping folks with closing costs or down payment.
Absolutely correct. What's a lot of times THDA loans are a little bit more tedious, and it's not always been, to me, like a competitive advantage for some buyers to use it. But they've turned around. They've done a complete 360. The new THDA program, it has a lower rate than the current market.
Right.
And sometimes a pretty significant lower rate. Like, I think today it's 5.875 on the Great Choice. They do have a home for the brave, for military, and for first responders they just came out with. Like firemen, EMT, policemen can get the THDA program, and that rate,
it's a half point lower, I think.
Right, it's like 5.375. Yeah. So, if you're a first-time home buyer and you're paying $1,500 or more in rent, you got to be calling the lender of your choice and your realtor, and at least do the research and investigate before you sign another lease. I mean, you're not doing yourself any good or your family, and you're not going to build wealth if you don't have property. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you there. I think I forgot the stats, but most of your people that are wealthy have started off with the first home, and then they built wealth with the equity in that one, and then they went to the next home, or they kept that one and rented it. You've got to take a deep breath. You've got to get down and find out what you qualify for a home, especially today when, rent. When I bought my house, it was $82,500. It was off Meadow Hill. I was nervous as a wreck. I was like, man, $685 a month. How am I going to afford that? And I made it, and I cut back, and that's the best decision I made because I had the equity. Now, do I wish I had 5 or 10 of those right now? Yes, but hindsight's 20/20. Just make sure you move forward, making the right decisions, and if you're going to continue to rent, you're not going to build wealth.
That's right. And my story on that was. I was just out of middle, and this was 1987. Bought a townhome in Sylvan Park in Nashville for $59,900, and my rate was 7.5%, and I thought I was stealing money at the time.
Right.
And God, it's like I did okay when I sold it 10 years later, and upgraded just exactly what you're talking about, and when. But if I had, the thing is, had I held it another 5 years, instead of doubling money on it, I would have quadrupled, because that's when Sylvan Park became Sylvan Park. As we kind of wrap up the mortgage part of it, talk about your team that you have over at FNB and how they can get in touch with you guys.
Okay. Well, just to give a shout out, I talked about how the influence that Billy and Billy Brooks and Joe Tomlinson gave me at the theater. I had the same influence or mentor from Mark Purtle. So I'm going to give a shout out to the late Mark Purtle, who really, really changed my life for the better in the last 12 years. Because he took 10 months to recruit me over to F&B because I was nervous. But it was the best decision business-wise I'd made. But I have a fantastic team. I've got ladies with years of experience. Brenda, Sally, all those, and I feel like we give the service that no one else can, because I'll hold your hand. I'll meet you on a Saturday. I'll meet you on a Sunday. You can call me at night, but. We're F&B Mortgage. You can go to davegober.com. That's my website, and you can apply there. You've got information you can use. But, I'm F&B Mortgage right here on 322 North Front Street. Our door's always open, and it's great.
Yeah. So, and what has it been? I think through all of this, the ups and downs that we've seen, to try to stay on an even keel through the, when we talk about ups and downs, you're talking about rates and all that, which it looks like rates are targeted to get much, much better here in the next 6 months too. So.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope so. I've probably got 30 buyers that are waiting, 30 people that are sitting on the fence whether to put their home on the market just because they're nervous about rates. Our media does such a terrible job of scaring people, I think, a lot of times and that's why I like doing radio shows that are on a local basis, that you get to real information. That's why I did that radio show for years here.
Correct.
But you've got to understand that, every real estate market's different, and we need to keep people intact on doing the right things for them, and not. We've heard that we're going to be in a recession for 2 years almost, and
every indicator right now says it's not going to happen.
There's no way it's going to happen, and they can't say the word recession, because if you say that, you got to lower rates.
Yeah.
So the economic data is awesome. I was at the Builders Association breakfast yesterday morning, and the guys at the Chamber of Commerce were saying, our unemployment's at about 2.1%. That's only happened one time since we've been keeping records. 2.1% is the county's unemployment.
Wow. We're in a good place.
Yes.
We're in a very good place. Speaking of a good place, right here, the Wednesday morning Roundtable. Glad to have you with us. We're going to take a break. And Dave Gober, our guest. We've talked mortgages. We're going to talk movies. coming up right here on WGNS.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old premises.
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates.
Hey guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your health assessment at Low T Center, where they now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for only $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatment. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Since 1903, French's Shoes and Boots has been your hometown store for boots, shoes, apparel, and more. We always have the latest styles from all of your favorite brands. Plus, we have racks loaded with unbelievable bargains, up to 90% off. If you find a lower price, we'll match it, because nobody beats French's everyday low prices.
It makes good sense to shop at French's. French's Shoes and Boots.
1837 South Church Street in Murfreesboro.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
We're at Adams Place talking with Lee Davenport.
So I plan to come to Adams Place. I think they're great. Claire's wonderful. Marie's great. They've all been good to me.
If a friend asks you, where's the best place to live, what would you tell them?
Adams Place. This is the best.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place, located at 1927 Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
It's Good Neighbor Events, brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control, Cardinal Realty Solutions, and the law offices of John Day.
Let the experts at Cardinal Realty Solutions help you with your Middle Tennessee real estate needs.
Cardinal went over the process, so we knew what to expect.
Find a realtor you can trust.
They made it less stressful
at CardinalRealtySolutions.com.
If you're not waking up to the Wake Up Crew, here's what you've been missing.
You think we're way out there? Yes.
Don't miss the Wake Up Crew with John, Brian, and Dalton. Weekday mornings from 6 until Swap and Shop.
WGNS is more than happy to list your local events on our website. Just get them to us well in advance of their date. Don't forget the Taste of Rutherford's just around the corner, an opportunity to enjoy the foods of different restaurants. And while you're doing it, you're benefiting the Main Street Murfreesboro program, a group that wants to preserve the history and beauty of our historic downtown area. Get your tickets now to Main Street Murfreesboro's annual Taste of Rutherford. It's this Saturday night, 6 until 9, at Oakland's Mansion. The tickets are $50 each. For more information, get with Main Street Murfreesboro. Oh, don't forget, this is the final weekend for the School of Rock at the Art Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. Learn about local history. Join your friends from the Rutherford County Historical Society this Saturday morning from 9 until noon at the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse. 9 until noon this Saturday, and it is free. That's at 717 North Academy Street. Plenty of free coffee and donuts, too. And those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good neighbor weather.
A few scattered showers and storms here early this afternoon with cloudy skies, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight, chance for rain and storms, a low near 75. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 69.
WGNS powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Looking to go solar? MTE's Pro Solar program is committed to educating members on the process and helping them achieve their renewable energy goals. Learn more about Pro Solar and your free consultation at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable here on this Wednesday. Chip Walters with you. Dave Gober's our guest today, and we talked mortgages. Now we're going to go to the other M in Dave's life, and that is movies. And that you went from your business to one of the things that's your absolute passion, and that is movies and movie theaters.
It is. Like I said, I became a projectionist in 1988, and I became manager in 1990. I was making $350 a week, Chip. Man, I was on top of the world. I was in school. My major was business administration with a minor in finance.
Yeah.
Perfect. I got a lot of great training, became assistant city manager, and then helped out with audited theaters in Nashville and Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and North Alabama. I got robbed in Decatur, Alabama, back gunpoint, so had a theater behind Ryan's there. So I kind of moved me into the financial side of things as I graduated. It's like, maybe I need to get out of the movie business, not handle cash on hand, but got into mortgages. But the theater, man, I tell you, if I could tell you the story, I hope people will take to heart how important relationships are with certain people in your lives, and you've got to cherish those because you don't know when they're going to be gone. So with me saying that, Billy had Brooks owned the theater. In 2000, he called me and said, "Hey, we're going to go open this theater. We're going to go over to the Stones River and get that one first at the mall," because Carmike had filed bankruptcy. And I said, "Bill, all right, let's do it." I was a repo man. I was doing helping people reestablish their credit after bankruptcy. So I was working all the time. My son got sick, was at Vanderbilt Hospital. I was trying to help Billy open a theater. I couldn't come up with a certain amount of money. I was doing everything I can to survive. I went to a person or two, and then I didn't get any help. So I had to bow out because Billy and I were going to open the Premier 6 together in 2000, but I couldn't do it. So I was a little disgruntled a little bit because, like you said, I do love the theater. But it motivated me, Chip. It took me to a direction that I said, you know what, I'm not going to depend on anybody financially anymore. I'm going to do it my daggum self. So I think that helped me become who I am today. When I thought that there was the worst decision in my life or the thing that happened to me when I couldn't be a part of the theater because I couldn't come up with the finances, that sparked me. That got me rolling. So I got after it. I said, God, just let my kid be healthy, and I will take care of the rest.
Wow.
And I got after it, and so Billy would always feel like, free movies for me, and, he was really good. But anyway, then he decided he wanted to retire, and he wanted to sell the theater. He had 2 or 3 offers, but he wanted me to have it for some reason. I don't know, maybe because I like movies. But he said, hey, why don't you buy the theater? Here's how we're going to do it. And I said, Bill, I don't have time for that. I've got 4 kids, travel, baseball, everything. I said, I don't have time for it. I said, and plus my mortgage business is great, and he said, well, just look at it. So I looked at the numbers and stuff, and then I said, okay, all right, I'll do it. But I had to hire Shelby, who's my manager today. I had to go recruit the best I could get, and it took me a while. I got her on board. She's phenomenal. She does a great job. She is there. She's the one that's on the screen when you come in. I want to introduce everybody to her, because she is the theater there. But, Billy said, hey, I'll work it out with you. And so me and Billy came to a financial agreement. It was unbelievable. I won't go into the details, but I was able to take over the theater June of 2017, I think it was. And so I've had it for 6 years. And I just the story. And then after Bill retired, he unfortunately passed away, sudden cancer, and lost to my mentor there. But I carried it on, and when I visited him, because he went like in a fast time, bless his heart, but I would go see him, I mean, pretty much every day, because we knew. But he said, "You were like a son to me," and that meant the world to me. Mm-hmm. And then when I got Shelby, he didn't think I could get Shelby to come back on board. He goes, "She's like my daughter." And I said, "Well, we got the theater, we're going to keep it going, and I'm going to take." And I really think today Billy would be really proud of where Premier 6 is.
Yeah, because you all went from surviving to thriving.
Well, Chip, the pandemic wasn't easy. I'll be honest with you.
You got creative. You're selling popcorn out the front door,
and I had to do special show rentals and stuff, and we had to cut back. I remember the late Larry Rawson, another good buddy of mine. He was the ambassador of the theater, and those that had went there know him. I had to carry them on my payroll for about 12 months out of pocket because they had to have the income, even though we weren't making any money. But I was able to offset the loss into the theater with my mortgage business because it had like quadrupled. So all that being said, a blessing, 120% blessing.
Yeah.
And I knew that if we could just get through the pandemic, that we would be okay. And here in the last 6 months, we've done very, very well. And, I know you've got choices and stuff, but, our theater, we hire local kids that are, and Shelby does a great job with giving them graduation gifts, and we recognize their academic accomplishments and things. And we've got girls that have gone to Pepperdine, Oxford, UT Knoxville, Mississippi State, MTSU, of course, but when UT, I've got so many good kids. I remember this one girl, Leah, worked with us, and she's very smart, and she got a 34 on her ACT, and I was so proud of that every time I walked in the door while she worked there before she went, I think she's at Belmont now, but I would call her 3-4. I wouldn't call her Leah anymore. I call her 3-4 because and then I'd brag on her in front of customers and stuff like, that girl right there made a 34 on her ACT. So, and my dad was a big academic, obviously being a professor. So just a great warm and fuzzy feeling there. I hope people appreciate the remodel. I think we couldn't have done a better job. Shelby did fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
But just a genuine feel you get when you go there. Our staff, I get so many comments. Our staff is top notch. And, we've got the best popcorn. We cook it in coconut oil.
Yep.
It's cooked fresh every day. We don't pre-bag nothing, You can get it to go. Like, you can get a big old bag of popcorn for $15. You'd feed 10 people.
Oh, at least.
And, if you got a party, you got a birthday party, you want movie night at home, grab it and go. But, the changes are, everybody asks me, they ask you about interest rates. People ask me about recliners.
Yeah.
And here's my story on recliners, because that's a big deal, I think, to a lot of people. You pay for those recliners. These big box companies will charge you a lot more. Now, my plan is to do more of a wider, like a glide rocker type chair, not a recliner. But me and Shelby have talked about taking out like 6 to 8 rows in every theater and doing better spacing between each row so you can stretch out all the way and not touch anything in front of you or behind you. And your feet can't come off the floor if you lean back enough. But, to put recliners in there, it was going to be close to $1 million.
Wow.
And I would have to go up on my ticket price. And it would change the whole dynamics because now I got to repair those things. I got to increase, electric bill, just a conduit to run the electricity for all those chairs and all those in the theaters would be close to $150,000. And that's just for the electrical work.
Yeah.
And then the chairs are about $560,000 for 600. So anyway, just to put that in perspective, I want to keep my prices very affordable. I've got digital sound, digital picture, everything's good. I've got comfortable seats, and I've got great prices. our senior tickets and our child tickets are the best out there.
Believe me, now that I'm past a certain age, I take advantage of that. 4th of July,
Yeah.
you know, hot day, and I didn't have anything really going on, so I came down, watched the Indiana Jones movie, and bought my ticket online. Got in there, got my popcorn. It was awesome.
Right, and you know, I'm glad that the owner of the mall, Jackson Heights Mall, has finally decided to remodel. We're grateful for that. I think that's the best location in town because you can get in and out of Jackson Heights so easy. So there's some good positive changes to upgrade that facility. We've got a new sign going out front. It's going to be cool. I just, you know, I look back over the years and I think, man, I used to walk up and down that Jackson Heights place.
That was the place.
Well,
man.
Family Billiards was at the corner.
Yeah.
I go down there and play the Star Wars game. And then you had Dipper Dan right beside, that's where the hair place is, right beside Great Escape. You know, I had my 5-year-old birthday party there. Dipper Dan was a little ice cream shop. But and you know, another great store, and I love locals, and that's another thing at the theater. I have ads on before the show, but I don't put I don't line it up with 30 minutes of advertising. I just go with local businesses. I try to support local, so I only do local. We do Pepsi. Pepsi said, hey, we'll pay you this. No, I don't want to do all that. I just want local businesses. But Great Escape next door to us. If you've ever been into Great Escape, great vinyl selection, great nostalgic video games, action figures. I mean, it's
baseball
like
cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great combination. So just a lot of exciting things happen for the theater. And I think that when I went back to doing your forecast and your historical data, the pandemic, you know, the pandemic may have been good for the theater. Okay, we know it was good for mortgage rates.
Right.
But it was also good for the theater. But when my mortgage business was up, my other business was down. So I had the complete opposite spectrum, right?
Right.
But I was able to survive because if both had been down, I'd be down, right?
Right.
So getting through the pandemic, I think, helped us become more adaptive. Does that make sense?
Adaptive and creative, because you as a local theater owner can do things that the chains can't do. I mean, you're bringing back I call them old movies, old classic movies, and stuff that I saw 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and you might have a screening of the original Star Wars or whatever it might be on Saturday mornings, things like that. You're able to we do a private showing for kids every spring. So you're able to do a lot of things like that really kind of make it, you know, it reminds me of growing up in Columbia, going to the Polk Theater, and where that was the hub of my teenage activity.
Right, and the thing is that people come in there and go, man, like we had a couple other day, they saw Jaws opening night at Premiere 6 at the theater there, and I was like, wow, Jaws. I remember when I saw the movie, I was scared to death. I was 5 years old, right? Yeah. It came out in 1975, but it's still a great movie. That's what movies do. They take you back in time to a good place, to a time of connection. You know, I tell Shelby all the time, we're in the business of mini vacations that you don't have to pack for. You don't even have to plan. You can at the last minute, hey, I want to go hang out with Indiana Jones. You know, hey, you know what? I'm going to go watch Incredibles because when I watched it with my parents, you know, or I'm going to take off and the new one, what's the new Oppenheimer and Barbie? You know,
Barbie's going to be huge,
right? And we're building a Barbie toy box, like a package box, so you can walk in and get your picture made.
Yeah,
you know, so we do little things. I had characters for like Frozen when it came out. I got real Disney quality characters.
Yeah,
and we do those things. We do birthday parties. We've even put video games on the screen now. We have a Mario Smash Brothers tournament.
Wow.
So, and we're working on doing live events like playoffs or national championship or Super Bowl. I'm working on doing that.
Yeah.
So, and we do beer shows with the local breweries. Like we did Cocaine Bear when it came out with Black Abbey out of Nashville.
Yeah.
Sold 70 tickets. And that's been real popular. So we do things. And if you want to plan a special retirement party or an employee event or anything, we're your go-to.
Yeah. And how cool is that, to be able to do that in the movie theater? And I know that you all are in the process of updating the theater right now and doing some really cool things that are going to be unveiled here over the next little bit. And I know it's important to you to have that tie to the history of this town and the movie business.
It is. I was telling you earlier, I got with Shacklett's Photography here on the square, and we're doing historical panels about the theaters and the drive-in and stuff throughout Rutherford County over the years. And it's going to be on your wall, on your exit, the wall that divides the exit from the concession stand. It's going to be really cool. Spent some good little money on that, but I felt like I needed to do that for the history of Bill and Joe T and everybody. And it's just really neat to see how it's evolved. I'd love to put I know I talked to Bill Jakes a while ago about doing a theater downtown, like the old days, but just there wasn't enough parking. I'd have to charge. I mean, the renovation, it'd be very costly. To build a theater today, that's not going to happen. You're not going to see new theaters being built because of the pandemic.
Right.
People are just going to hang on and maintain, and that's why I like the Premiere, because it's simple, it's friendly, and it gives you great value.
Absolutely. Great way to put it right there. Time for a break, and we'll head down the home stretch. Dave Gober with us here on the Wednesday Roundtable on WGNS.
Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet, burning pain, balance problems, and a decreased quality of life? Magnolia Medical Center can help. This is Dr. David Morris with Magnolia Medical Center, across the street from the hospital and the Ascend Federal Credit Building.
Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
When it comes to your home, memories and sentimental value are priceless. Farrah Construction can remodel your home, or we can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. That's Farrah Construction. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable on this Wednesday. Dave Gober is here. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking state politics. Keel Hunt will be back on with us just ahead of the special legislative session and kind of get his thoughts on where that might go. But, Dave, coming out this week, Oppenheimer is the newest of the summer blockbusters. Really interesting because a lot of it is in black and white. Mm-hmm. And it is shot in IMAX, which I think I saw this on CBS Sunday Morning the other day, that the IMAX film itself is about twice as big as 30. It is. And the thing, it's amazing. 11 miles of film for this movie, and it weighs 600 pounds.
That's what I was about to say.
How about that?
My friend Matt Lively and I were talking yesterday about that, and he said, man, I love your theater, but I got to go see it in IMAX. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You go do it, because, I mean, I understand that. I mean, when you've got a movie that weighs 600 pounds and twice the size of a normal 35 millimeter, then yes. I mean, that's like I want to see the projector. I want to watch it go through the projector and back on the platter.
Yeah.
See how it works. But that movie's going to be, I think, really good. I mean, it's 3 hours long, but what a historical movie.
Oh my gosh. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff about Oak Ridge in there, but while there was all of his part was out in Los Alamos in New Mexico, but obviously stuff was going on with the Manhattan Project at Oak Ridge. But this year your biggies have been so far, you've had the Mission Impossible movie. You've got the
Mario was the biggest by far.
Was it really?
Mario's the top grossing cartoon movie I think of all time now, but Mario was phenomenal.
Were y'all packed?
Yeah, and I had special Mario characters there, and had pictures, and had a fun time, and people lined up, and I stood in there, and that's the thing. Like my wife would be like, "Hey, we're going here today." I said, "No, I got to go to the theater. I got to work." When business is so good at the mortgage side, and I would go work at the theater as my relief, as my escape.
Right.
And I'd go shovel popcorn for an hour, and I'd love every minute of it. I'd talk to people. I walk into theaters, and I say, hey, appreciate y'all coming, supporting local, keeping us alive. That's what it's all about. But I love going to the theater. My wife be like, you'll see me outside sweeping the front of the sidewalk. It's just, I don't know. Once a doorman, always a doorman,
That's right.
I just love it. Joe T told me, he said, you got to grow your business. You're a manager, and I expect big things from you. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, you need to treat your theater like you do a church. You're the preacher. These are your congregation. When people come out of that theater, they need to shake your hand. You need to shake their hand and tell them how valuable and how thankful you are for them. I remember in the days of going to church, people, you would shake their hands. I don't know if they do that anymore. Remember, you couldn't leave the church without shaking the preacher's hand at the door.
Yeah.
So I took that same philosophy into the theater business, because every one of those patrons is a family to me, because they're keeping us alive, and they're keeping a tradition in Murfreesboro. Premier 6, that theater will be 57 years old coming up.
I was going to say, philosophically, and in the 50,000-foot view, it's important to have a locally owned theater. The chains are great, all of that, but to have that local feel where, you've got so much more flexibility to do things that are fun and family oriented and theme oriented, whatever it might be. It's very, and you can make decisions right there on what you want to do.
Go follow us on Facebook or Instagram, Premier with the E on the end, Premier 6. Like, if you dress up in pink clothes or whatever, we're going to give you a discount on your ticket for the Barbie movie coming up.
Oh, really?
Okay, we want people to get involved. When we do Spider-Man every year, every time there's a Spider-Man, I get so many kids that come in dressed up like Spider-Man, and that makes me feel good. Those are real great memories. And a lot of the kids that work there, this is another good thing. The kids that work there, the parents of them and me used to work at the theater.
Right.
So it's kind of like a tradition. And I've got a third child from one family. Their mom says, you got to go work at the theater. And every one of them has gone off to be successful, but they've been really good kids. And we teach them how to do inventory, how to be accountable with your cash drawer, how to, a lot of kids didn't know how to speak. I used to go up to a kid named Harrison. Me and his dad worked back with Joe T in the late 80s and 90s, Josh Allen. And I'd say, Harrison, who's number one? And he'd get all nervous, and he goes, you are. And I said, no, the customer, man, the customer. And then I said, what's our word? What's our word at Premier 6? And he goes, I said, our word is welcome. Everyone's welcome, no matter their background. Everybody's welcome.
That's right.
And that's my two big things. Everybody's welcome at Premier 6. It's an escape from the world to a time that's all about having fun with your family. That's what it's about. That's all we want to do. But the popcorn, the sales price, the ticket price, I keep concessions low.
You do.
And I don't charge tax, Chip. I don't charge tax.
You build it in.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you pay $11 to get in, it's $11.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if you go somewhere
and you'll
else,
net out what the tax will get paid, and you'll net it out.
Right. So, but we're not having to add tax to that. the price you see is the price you get.
I paid $6.50 or so with my senior ticket to come in and see a 2.5-hour Indiana Jones movie.
For $20, you can get a popcorn, a drink, and a ticket.
Yeah,
and sometimes candy, depending if you're a senior but you can't get that anywhere.
Yeah. When is Barbie going to be released?
This weekend,
and Oppenheimer as well, right?
Yes.
And you will have both movies.
I will.
Gotcha. So,
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, Barbenheimer. There you go. Out of all of this stuff, in no particular order, what's Dave Gober's 5 favorite movies?
Tough.
Yeah.
I love Saving Private Ryan. I think they did an outstanding job. Tom Hanks is one of my all-time favorites. So I'm going to say Private Ryan. Every time that movie comes on, such a lot of life lessons in that movie. And you talk about a time and age and we just lost, what was the local guy who was a veteran, World War II veteran, I forget. But, it's just a great movie, and that was a tough time. Our kids, they don't realize what it takes to do that. My grandfather, World War II, all that stuff. So I'd say that's probably one of my favorites. Forrest Gump, always. You just can't beat that movie at all.
It's I don't know how it's not in everybody's top 5.
Right. It's amazing. Man, I do like Pulp Fiction for the creativity. I'm
a Pulp Fiction fan too.
And Empire Strikes Back was a great one for the Star Wars series.
That's my favorite Star Wars movie, and I haven't seen a lot of the new Star.
Yeah.
Back when it first came out, I liked Empire Strikes Back better than the original.
I saw Return of the Jedi with Ernest Tubbs, the country music star's grandson, Byron. Me and him were friends at the premiere.
Yeah.
So, and the 5th one, it could be a toss-up. I like Gran Torino with
God, that's a good movie.
With Clint Eastwood. That's what another.
I tell you, I'm a big fan of The Green Mile.
Yes.
And that's a Stephen King movie, and I think about that movie and Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
both are Stephen King movies, but they're not what you would think about Stephen. You would think Carrie or all the horror movies. The thing is, on those 2 movies, they both, in my opinion, have the same theme in that who you think is supposed to be the good guy is the bad guy, and who you think is supposed to be the bad guy turns out to be the good guy. John Coffey, turned out to be the good guy, and in Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne and Red were the good guys.
That Shawshank Redemption, man, the best line out of it, and I say this all the time: get busy living or get busy dying.
That's right.
That's all it is. That's what life is. And so, but I appreciate all the support for people who have continued to come to Premiere 6. If you haven't been there, come check it out. It's all redone. I will do new seats starting next year. We are going to redo the bathrooms coming up in August of this year.
Right.
So, and we're always up for suggestions on things you would like for us to carry at the theater. You can go Premiere 6 on Facebook or Instagram, or you can call me. I'm always up to talk about movies for sure.
Yeah, it's right there in Jackson Heights Plaza, and today you talk about a perfect day to go to the movies.
Yeah. Well, when it rains, your business goes up at the movies 30%.
Does it really?
Yeah, because people go, well, crap, I can't do this, so here we go.
Can't play golf today. Can't do whatever.
Can't go to work if you're a landscaper outside.
Yeah.
Go over. And here's the thing: best 2 things you can do in one day: go to Toots, which is locally owned with Wade Hayes, awesome place, and then go right over to Premiere 6 and watch your movie. You just supported 2 of the best local businesses here in town, and we have a lot of them.
Yep. So for folks who may not have been there, what time of day do you start your showings?
Well, we open at 1:30, so we stagger the show, so we're not always slammed at once. We used to do it 2, 4:30, 7, 9:30. Well, that's changed. Now we'll do like a 2, 2:15, 2:20. 2:30, and believe it or not, that makes the concession stand flow easier.
Right.
There's less congestion because when you got big movies like we've had, we did 160 people in one show last Saturday at 2. Well, I can't. If you have 160 people come at once, it's tough.
Right.
So we have to stagger that out. But I'm so proud going against the Stones River Theater and all that, and we're still doing well. I think we'll continue to do well because we're clean. We take care of our stuff. Our people are great, and our popcorn's awesome.
That's right. And your key word, welcome.
Welcome.
The other one that's always there is thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, your folks never fail to say welcome or thank you. And for those of us in any type of service, remember that.
Well, it's hard to find good service.
That's right.
You won't have a hard time finding it at Premier 6, I promise
right.
you. And if you do, you call me directly if you got a problem.
Yeah, and you don't get many phone calls about that, do you?
I don't,
fortunately.
man. But see, here's the thing. I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So I walk in, introduce myself, say, hey, what can I do for you? I've had this guy, I know we got to wrap up, but I had this guy, he's a regular, right? He comes in, and he always buys popcorn. People just buy popcorn and leave. But I said, you know what? So
people can do that.
Right. You can go in there, buy popcorn, and leave.
Yeah.
And you can get the value bag.
Yeah.
But I walked up there and I said, I looked at the concession attendant and I said, this one's on me. And he said, and I said, I'm the owner. I've seen you come in here the last several months. You support me, you buy the popcorn and stuff. Let me treat you today.
There you go.
And that's what I like to do. I like to make people smile.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave, thanks so much for coming by today.
Chip, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And love your place. And if you want movies or mortgages, Dave is the guy to handle things for you. So that's a lot of fun. Keel Hunt is going to be with us next week. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit about talking the entire hour state politics, where we are after the crazy session that was that we had, and also leading into the special session coming up in August. So all of that is going on. Hope you'll join us next week for that. If you missed any of our show today, you can always catch it on the podcast section of WGNSradio.com. Everybody have a good day. Stay dry. Brian Barrett's coming up next.